Hello guys, guess what? We're going to learn something very powerful in upper limb as we start strategically with the first class, and this is our lesson 1, parts of the upper limb. So the first thing to learn on that overview of the upper limb is the parts of the upper limb. What are the various parts that aggregate themselves together to form the upper limb? If you are good to go, let's go together. First, hold on a bit. A complete series of classes in anatomy, all of them, physiology, all the physiology, biochemistry, all, they are available in the LearnLift app. So just head down to Play Store or App Store and type LearnLift, right? And then download the app and you have access to all your classes and the continuation of this lesson you are watching right now. For the now, peace out. I'd like you to note that under the parts of the upper limb, you must know that the upper limb can be systematically organized into how many distinct parts? 4 distinct parts. In other words, there are 4 parts that we can systematically put together to form the upper limb. And you must know every bit of this class in details. What are the 4 things? Number 1 is called shoulder. Oh yes, aside the shoulder, we have what is called the arm or the brachium. Another name for arm, what is it called? Brachium. What's number 1? Shoulder. Number 2, arm or brachium. Number 3 is called the forearm or the antebrachium. Now listen, the spelling of the anti is not A-N-T-I, no. A-N-T-E, that's what we have, antebrachium or the forearm. And then number 4 is called the hand. So call the 4 of them for me. Number 1 is called the shoulder. Number 2 is called the arm or the brachium. Then we have what is called the forearm or the antebrachium. And then number 4 is called the what? Hand. If you get this very quickly, sir, show me. Oh yes, I will always show you. Now look at this very quickly. From here, where is your shoulder? You know this is the shoulder, right? Oh yes. So when you touch your shoulder, you know exactly where you are touching. This is the shoulder there. Aside the shoulder, we have what is called the arm. From here to here, that is called the what? The arm or the brachium. And then from here all the way to this region, what do we call it? It is called the what? Forearm or the antebrachium. The whole of this guy like this, just this one alone now that is rotating. What is it called? That's the hand. You know, normally when you are saying hand, you think that is everything like this that they call hand. No, Baba, it's not all like that is hand. Are you getting it? Just this alone. That's what we refer to as the hand. And then I'm going to be explaining these 4 parts to you one after the other in this class. Of course, what's the first? The shoulder. When we are done with the shoulder, where are we going to next? We are going to the what? Arm or the brachium. After the arm or the brachium, what's number 3? Forearm or antebrachium. Number 4 is the what? Hand. Are you good to go? In the shoulder, what are we going to see there very quickly? I'd like you to know this very fast, that the shoulder is subdivided. In other words, how many subdivisions of the shoulder do we have? There are 3 of them. So we can say shoulder is subdivided into how many parts? 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? Number 1 is called the axilla or the armpit. You know, the entire upper limb is subdivided into 4, right? The first of them is shoulder. Only shoulder alone is subdivided into how many parts? 3 parts. Number 1 is called the axilla or the what? Armpit. The one you call armpit. What is armpit? The medical term for armpit, axilla. And then number 2 is called the scapular region. So we have the armpits or the axilla, we have the scapular region. And number 3 is called the pectoral or the breast region. What's number 3 called? Pectoral or the breast region. So we have the axilla or the armpit, the scapular region, the pectoral or the what? Breast region. Don't cram. Just let it and understand this very quickly. From this, sir, what is the first called? Of course, it is the axilla or the what? Armpit. Axilla or armpit. You know that. Posteriorly, the back side, which region is that? That is the scapular region, because the bone that is there is the scapula. I'm going to show you bones very soon. And then if you now come to the front, that is the anterior side. What do we call that? It is called the pectoral or the breast region. So how many regions do we have in the shoulder? There are 3 of them. What are the 3 of them? Number 1 is called the what? Axilla or the armpits. The one that is at the back, what is it called? It is called the scapular region. And then the anterior side, which is the front, is the what? The pectoral or the what? The breast region. Does it make sense? Do you understand? If you get this very quickly with me, bro, no time. Answer this question for me. A powerful exam question, or the way say, which of the following is not a subdivision of the shoulder region. How many regions do we have in the shoulder? There are 3 subdivisions in the shoulder region. Option A say axilla. Axilla or armpit is a subdivision. They say which one is not? So axilla is. Option B says scapular region. Yes, scapular region is. That's the posterior side. Option C says brachium. No, brachium is not part of it. And then option D say pectoral region. Pectoral region is. Which of the following is not a subdivision of the shoulder region? What's the answer? Brachium. Option C is the answer. You're out of there. No time. Does it make sense? If you get this very quickly with me, I'd like you not to forget this very fast. What are the bones of the shoulder? We have looked at the subdivisions of the shoulder. And how many subdivisions of the shoulder do we have? There are just 3 of them. The axilla or the armpit, the scapular region, and the what? The pectoral or the what? The breast region. What about the bones that form the shoulder? Now pay attention solidly. There are 2 major bones that come together to form the shoulder. I'm not telling you shoulder joints. No, I'm talking about the shoulder region. It's different from the shoulder joint or the glenohumeral joint. I'll show you when we get there. But please, I'd like you to know this very quickly. What are the bones in the shoulder region? Number 1 is called the clavicle. What is it called? Clavicle. C for clavicle, C for collarbone. So clavicle is also called collarbone. Number 2 is called the scapula. The scapula, S for scapula, S for shoulder blade. It is either you call it clavicle or the collarbone or the scapula or the what? Shoulder blade. These are the 2 bones that you see in the shoulder region. Sapita, surely, very fast. Yeah, let's go. Now, from this guy, what can you observe? Give me the 2 bones. Number 1 is the clavicle or the collarbone. Now listen, this bone here, this one here now that I'm touching, touch it. As the easy way to learn anatomy, the easiest way is to be touching your body and be following. This guy here is called the clavicle or the collarbone. And that clavicle or collarbone is also called the beauty bone. What is it called? It is called the what? The beauty bone. Right? So if they remove the beauty bone from you, what will happen to you? You go, you will war. You get it now. So your clavicle or your what? Your collarbone is also called your beauty bone. And then the second bone there is called the scapula. The one that is at the back, the big bone at the back, right? You know, sometimes you want to eat cow meat. This big bone, you can feel it and palpate it yourself, right? That is the scapula or the what? The shoulder blade. How many bones come together to form the shoulder? There are 2 of them. The clavicle or the collarbone, which is also called the beauty bone. And number 2 is called the what? The scapula or the shoulder blade. If you get this very fast with me, that means you have done very well. Now, another thing you must know is the articulation. When we say articulation there is talking about the joints. What are the joints that come together, right, or articulate themselves to form the shoulder? Number 1 is called the acromioclavicular joint. What is it called? Acromioclavicular joint. Be pronouncing with me. Acromioclavicular joint. Number 2, sternoclavicular joint. Now, if you watch, one thing is common in the joints or the articulation of the shoulder. You have clavicular common in the 2 of them. Number 1 is the acromioclavicular joint. Number 2 is called the sternoclavicular joint. What's number 1? Acromioclavicular. What's number 2? Sternoclavicular joint. Is it making sense? Let me show you very quickly so that you see it. From this here, where is the acromioclavicular joint? Where is the sternoclavicular joint? Now look at this. This guy here, touch it in your body. This guy here, are you getting it now? What is it called? Acromioclavicular joint in the shoulder. How is the acromioclavicular joint formed? That's the quick question. It is formed by the acromia process of the scapula. Listen, you know scapula is behind, right? Yes. The acromial process of the scapula is articulating with the clavicle. When it articulates with the clavicle, what will it form? It will form what is called the acromioclavicular joint. Just know it first. Like, let's still be on the surface before we go deep, right? Before we go profunda into anatomy. Now, be with me very quickly. How is your acromioclavicular joint formed? It is formed back from the articulation of the acromial end of the what? Scapula with the clavicle. So if the 2 of them articulate, what will I have? Acromioclavicular joint. Number 2 is called the sternoclavicular joint, and this is the sternoclavicular joint. How is it formed? From the name sternum, right? Sternum, or the breastbone, and the clavicle. When they articulate, what will it form? To form the sternoclavicular joint. So if you watch now, only clavicle alone is forming 2 joints, right? Yes, the acromioclavicular joint and the sternoclavicular joint. Which one is medial? The one that is in the midline of the body, that's the medial one. Of course, which one is in the midline? Sternoclavicular joint is what? Medial. Acromioclavicular joint is what? Lateral. Does it make sense? You get this very quickly with me. Very answer this question as it ought. Now, the question here all the way says the articulation between the clavicle and scapula is called. Reason it before you say anything. The articulation between the clavicle, only you reason it. This is the clavicle or the corner bone, right? Yes. And the scapula from behind. This is the joint they are going to form. The other is lateral, not the one that is medial. Now, what is that joint called? Option A, it is called the sternoclavicular joint. Sternoclavicular joint. Where is sternoclavicular joint? This is the sternoclavicular joint, right? Yes. Option B says it will form the acromioclavicular joint. You see, there's nothing like acromio in the question. The articulation between the clavicle and the scapula, what will it form? It will form the acromioclavicular joint. Option C says the glenohumeral joint. No, we're going to look at all these joints as we move. It is not the glenohumeral joint. And then option D says it is going to form the radioulnar joint. No, it is not radioulnar joint. It is not sternoclavicular joint. What is the answer? B is the answer. Acromioclavicular joint is the correct answer. So if clavicle and scapula articulate, which part of the scapula? Acromial end of the word scapula. When it articulates with the clavicle, what is it going to form? Acromioclavicular joint is the answer. And you're out of there. No time. Oh, let's go. Very quickly, when it comes to creating accounts, how do you create an account? Very easy. Let me give you the steps. First and foremost, you see create account and log in. You only log in, right, when you already have an account. Since you don't have an account, click on create account. When you get there, put in your phone number. Put in your phone number. After putting in your phone number, you click on continue, right? Your first name, of course, you put in your first name there. If your first name is James, you put in James as your first name. Your last name, if your last name is Victor, you put in what? Victor as your last name. Then you come to email address, right? Put in your email address there very quickly. James112@gmail.com. @gmail.com. Then your password, right? Oh yes. Those of you that like, if you want to use your name, your password can just be like 6 digits, right? Oh yes. So let me say James 12 as the password, right? Fill everything accurately and correctly. James 12. Don't jump any stage. If not, your account is not going to open for you. Select education. Under select education, of course, university. You click university. Leave secondary, primary, leave the others. Click university or tertiary. Click it. Come to select level. Under select level, you go and select your level. If it's 100 level, 200 level, of course, all these are the university classes. Click on 200 level and click on create account. Once you click on create account, what will happen? Your class will load straight and then your profile will be set up and then it will take you to what? To class. Easy and direct. Shall you see it? This is how you create your account. And then from here, you can see that you have your anatomies here, your upper limb, your lower limb, separately embryology, histology, systemic anatomy. Those ones are for nursing. Your CVS, cardiovascular system, your blood physiology, excitable tissues, systemic physiology, intro to biochemistry, your biomolecules, BCM for nursing, nursing psychology. You have access to every single thing in the app. Now, let me see what is in the app. Let's say, for example, upper limb. You click on the upper limb, right? You can see that you have your classes there already waiting for you. Overview of the upper limb, pectoral region, arm region, forearm, hand, all of them part by part. When I click on the overview of the upper limb, of course, I'll just match it straight to my class. Parts of the upper limb 1, part of the upper limb 2, bones of the upper limb, joints of the upper limb, muscles. You see, all your classes are there for you, right? Okay, let me say I want to start now, and then I want to watch joints of the upper limb. All you just need to do is click on that particular class that you want to watch, joints of the upper limb, and what will happen? Your class will load. and your classes will start playing for you immediately. Shall you see? You may choose to say, okay, I want to rotate it, right? Oh yes, rotate it, and you start following your classes immediately, easy and direct. You may choose to say, okay, you want to forward, you want to pause, you want to back forward, anyone you want to do. And you take it forward, and what happened, you can see all of them very, very easy. And the sweet part is that there are questions for you at the end of every class. Are you with me? So that's for that. And you may choose to go back and then go to the notes section of the app. Oh yes, when you get to the notes section of the app, of course, the notes are there, well organized and arranged for you. And you can zoom in and then start following back to back, and you are following. You may even choose to go and start answering questions. Questions are there for you, and their answers. You start following through every singular facet of it, and you are learning on your own. And there is CPT in the app as well for you. A lot of other aspects that you can follow up. All of this in the LearnLift app. Same way you have for anatomy, that's how you have for physiology, that's how you have for biochemistry. Are you getting it now? For the now, bye-bye. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is called the arm or the brachium. Arm or the what? Brachium. Arm or the what? Brachium. Now, we have looked at everything about the what? The shoulder, right? Yes. So, after the shoulder, the next is the what? Arm or the brachium. Then we'll now come to the forearm or the antebrachium, and then cap it up with the what? Hand. Can we look at the arm or the brachium? Are you ready? Let's go together. In the arm or the brachium, first, what is the definition for the arm or the brachium? I'd like you not to forget this quickly, that the arm or the brachium is that part that is between the shoulder and the elbow. The part that is between the shoulder. Now, picture it yourself. That part between the shoulder and the elbow. What is that part called? It is called the arm or the brachium. And elbow is also called your what? Your cubitus. When you hear cubitus, what are we referring to? That's the elbow. What is your arm? Arm or brachium is the part of the upper limb that is found between the shoulder and the what? Elbow or what? Cubitus. Now look at it very, very quickly. Now where is it? You can see very fast that this guy here, what is it there? That's the shoulder. And this region here, what is this? That's the elbow. That part is called the what? Arm or the what? The brachium. And then we have established that the elbow is called your what? Your cubitus. Once you just hear elbow, what should come into your mind? Cubitus. That's the only thing you should remember there. Don't forget that the part between the what? The shoulder and the elbow, we call that what? Arm or the what? Brachium. Another important thing is, what is the bone that you see in the arm or the brachium? The bone of the brachium is called humerus. How many bones there? Just one bone. And what is that one bone? That's the humerus. You can see your humerus, right? Highlighted red. The bone of the brachium, what is it called? Humerus. Period. You're out of there. No stress. Another thing about the arm or the brachium you should know very quickly is the articulations. By articulations, we're talking about what? The joints there. How many joints do we have? There are two of them. Number one is called the shoulder joint. What is it called? Shoulder joint. In other words, how is shoulder joint formed? Shoulder joint now will now be formed with the what? The scapula. You know, we said that the bone of the what? Arm is called the humerus, right? So the joints that will now be formed between the humerus and the scapula. Where is that joint? It is the shoulder joint. And the second thing you should know very quickly is the elbow joint. Of course, elbow joint will now be formed between the radius and the ulna. Sapita, show me. Look at it very quickly. From this diagram now, what can we see? Two major joints. Number one is the shoulder joint. How is the shoulder joint formed? That shoulder joint is formed between the humerus and the bone that is behind. Which bone is at the back there? Scapula. Now, the question is, which part of the scapula is coming? The glenoid fossa of the scapula is going to articulate with the head of the humerus, and that will form what is called the glenohumeral joint. Just listen carefully. The one you call your shoulder joint, right, is popularly called the what? The glenohumeral what? Joint. So when you just hear me say shoulder joint, what is it? The glenohumeral joint. That's what I'm referring to. And which other joint do we have here? The joint that you have at the lower end here is called the elbow joint. What is it called? Elbow joint. Of course, The elbow joint is what we have here, and then this here is the what? The shoulder joint, also called the what? The glenohumeral joint. Does it make sense? You get that very quickly with me, bro. Guess what? We are done with everything about the what? Arm. Again, very quickly, as we take a quick recap, give me the 4 parts of the upper limb. Number 1 is the shoulder. Number 2 is the what? Arm, or the what? The brachium. Number 3 is called the forearm or the antebrachium. And then number 4 is called the what? The hand. Does it make sense? While we were looking at everything about the shoulder has how many subdivisions? There are 3 subdivisions there. Number 1 is called the axilla or the armpit. Number 2 is called the what? The scapular region. And then number 3 is called the what? The pectoral or the what? The breast region. Does it make sense? Very, very fast. Beautiful. And you know the joints that we made mention there, right? Beautiful. If you now come down here in your arm or the brachium, how many bones do we have there? Just 1 bone. If you understand this very quickly, please run through it again. I'll see you in the next class shortly. We're going to be looking at the forearm or the what? Antebrachium, still under the parts of the upper limb. For the now, peace out. See you in the next class. Bye-bye. Hope you've enjoyed this class. Guess what? To follow up for more classes, just download the LearnLift app, whether on Play Store or App Store, and then follow up your classes. You must do extremely well. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.